You're doing all the inner work. You're journaling, you're visualizing, you're meditating, but yet you keep falling into the same patterns. The truth is, you're not broken. You're not really doing anything wrong. You're just running into the same 3 hidden blocks that keeps almost everyone stuck in their old identity. Hey there, friend. My name is Anthony, and thanks for hitting play on this video. Today I want to share with you an insight for me that I keep going back to and keep learning over and over, and that identity shifting, manifestation, isn't really about doing more. Isn't really about applying more effort or trying harder. It really comes down to removing resistance. Because true change, lasting, meaningful change, doesn't come from more effort, for striving harder. It comes from alignment. And most of us usually sabotage that alignment by doing all the right things, taking the right action, doing all the practices, meditating. We do all that stuff, but we do it from the wrong identity. We do it from the old identity. So in this video, I want to share with you 3 hidden blocks that make transformation, that make manifestation almost feel like you're pushing this boulder uphill. But when you see that for what it is, when you see that boulder and those blocks, and you recognize it, the path, the journey becomes a lot lighter, and your life and you begin to flow. So let's get to it. So the first block is a big one. It's a common one. It's one most everyone suffers from in some extent. And that is focusing on the outcome, focusing on the results instead of the identity. You see, most people start their goals. We all do. We set a goal and we start by asking, how do I get what I want? How do I go from A to B? Instead of asking, who do I need to become? We ask, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? But really it's, who do I need to become so this feels natural and easy? If you're on the spiritual path, you more than well know that you heard it 100 times. When you're chasing goals, when you're chasing the outcome, when you're fixated on the result, you create an attachment. Your attention is on the outcome, you're attached. And with attachment comes resistance. And with that resistance, you're only reinforcing the same identity of not having it, the identity you're trying to let go of. You're reinforcing a state of being of lack. You end up striving and chasing for results instead of resonating with the state of being that creates those results easily. I find myself still getting stuck in this. I have so many goals, I'm involved in so many little projects, so many different businesses. I want to teach people meditation, I write, I create YouTube videos, I have my digital agency, and I have all these goals, all these things that I want to do, and I find myself taking so much action and trying to move things forward. But lately, I have to remind myself that I'll probably get where I want to go by chilling out, letting go of the doing, and just embodying a state of being that I am already that person. Instead of trying to become this version in my head, what if I just focus on being that person? What if I just focus on the basics of life, on how I experience life, feeling good, feeling joy, feeling connected with others, being present? And no matter what project I'm working on, no matter what task I'm attending to, the outcome will take care of itself because I'm aligned to an identity. So really, the shift happens by not asking how, but by asking who. Who do you need to become? So I invite you to reflect on this, to journal about this, and ask yourself, look at your life, look at the goals you have, and reflect. Who am I being when this feels easy and natural? Spend a few minutes with that question. What comes up? And revisit that question every day for a little while, just to see what's lingering with you, seeing what's shifting. Who am I being when this feels natural and easy? Now, I know what you might be thinking. You're probably thinking, okay, I understand this. I've heard it before. Overly focusing on the outcome creates resistance, and that manifestation is about shifting my identity. So I need to focus on who I need to become rather than what I want and what I'm doing. But yet I'm still stuck. So that leads to this second hidden block, which is usually the culprit when you're feeling this way, when you feel like you're doing all the identity work, when you have a bit of space between you and your goals. The problem there is that your nervous system is rejecting the change. And this happens because our nervous system doesn't feel safe when we introduce change, when we introduce anything unfamiliar, because growth and transformation triggers uncertainty. And your nervous system, the way we're wired, interprets that as danger, as something you need to stay away from. But the problem is we can't embody our future self. We can't shift our identity if our body's still stuck in survival mode, if our physiology doesn't feel safe. Because what happens is you'll unconsciously sabotage anything that feels unsafe and unfamiliar. Your nervous system, your subconscious will pull you back, even if it's something you strongly desire. So a way to do this is to practice feeling safe. And one thing you can do is every morning, get into a relaxed state, get into a meditative state, try to get into an altered state of mind where your analytical mind is not going crazy, and affirm that you are safe. Tell yourself, whisper gently in that state, I am safe to do X, Y, and Z. I am safe to expand. I am safe to receive. I am safe to be successful. I am safe to be seen. And do this every day. And as you do it, breathe into each statement of I am safe. You can even say, I deserve to be this person. I am capable of becoming the person I know I'm destined to be. I am worthy to be successful. I am worthy to receive. I am safe to have it. Bring it into your heart space. This is actually one of the things I teach in my identity shifting morning practice meditation course, is this wiring in of the nervous system by breathing in safety, embodying safety. Little by little, it helps. And it breaks the chains to always want to contract and retreat back to that safe place. And then speaking of which, that leads us to number 3, the third block, which ties into what we were just talking about. You don't have a daily embodiment practice. And that's a big one. And what I mean by that is that you can't think your way to a new life. You can't just simply change your mindset and shift your identity. You have to become it. You have to practice it daily. Because most people stop at understanding. They stop at theory. And it's so easy to do that these days with the world we live in, with the internet, with social media, now with AI. Information is at our fingertips. We can learn any skill that we want so quickly. We can have any information we want at our fingertips. We are bombarded with wisdom and ideas and hacks and tools, which is great, but it doesn't do you much good if you don't embody it, if you don't practice it. It's like if I were to teach you how to play a musical instrument, I can tell you about chords and scales and notes on the guitar. I can tell you with one hand, you're going to strum the strings, and on the other hand, you're going to press down on the strings on the fretboard and do that all in unison, and it's going to create music. You'll get that intellectually, but it's not going to do you any good unless you pick up a guitar and get your body moving, going through the motions, getting your whole physiology involved. And it's the same thing with identity shifting and manifestation. Change happens through repetition, through repeating a state of being, by practicing a new emotion. So really, you need to have some kind of daily ritual that connects all the theory, all the new information, all the skills, all the wisdom with your body and your emotions. That links that together every day. And that's how you rewire your self-concept. That's how you forge change. Little by little, that daily ritual, that routine, is what creates the new neural pathways in your mind. You bring your whole body together. So another practice that you can try in your morning routine is to just start each day considering what it would be like to start each day being your future self. What is the ideal version of yourself? How do they think? How do they feel? How do they speak? How do they walk? How do they show up? What's their attitude? How do they feel in their body? What is their posture like? Just do that for a few minutes. And at first, it will be kind of intellectual. Like you will think about how that future self feels. You will think about how that person shows up, but breathe into the thoughts. Just don't make it a mental exercise. Breathe into these new thoughts. Breathe into what's coming into your mind. And do that for 3 minutes each day. And little by little, you'll get better at going into that state. You'll get better of having that attitude, of having that emotion that's tied to your future self, feeling that, taking on that posture. Just look at it like in the beginning, you're playing pretend. You're playing pretend. You're acting as if your future self. It's these little tweaks that really go a long way in becoming the person you want to be. Little by little, you'll notice it makes a difference. So I hope these insights reframe the way you're thinking about if you're feeling stuck. Because perhaps you're not stuck because you're doing anything wrong, but perhaps you're stuck because you're trying to transform, you're trying to shift your identity, you're trying to manifest something from the same identity you're trying to outgrow. So I invite you this week to just notice which one of these blocks shows up for you most often. Are you overly focused on the outcome? Are you obsessed with the results? Do you have a fear of the unfamiliar, of change? Can you sense your nervous system keeps pulling you back? Or maybe this whole manifestation thing is quite intellectual for you. It's rooted in concept, it's rooted in theory, it's rooted in wisdom. And maybe you need to bring more embodiment into it. Maybe you need to have an embodiment practice. Notice which one of these three shows up for you the most and commit to changing just one. Just one. Add this to your practice. Add this to your daily routine. You'd be surprised that these little small tweaks, they can go a long way and make a big difference. So I really hope these insights can help you. And if these 3 blocks resonated with you, I and you want to go deeper on identity shifting, they are exactly the reason why I created the identity shifting morning practice. It's exactly why I built this program, and it's what we work through. The identity shifting morning practice is a 10-day meditation course that helps you retrain your subconscious mind, helps you feel safe in changing, and it helps you build a daily practice of becoming your future self. So if that resonates with you, I'll drop a link below, and I'd love to have you. But either way, thanks for pressing play today, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love.